Macmillan Audio presents Killing Patton, the strange death of World War II's most audacious general, by Bill O'Reilly and Martin Dugard. This is Bill O'Reilly. This audio is dedicated to my father, William O'Reilly, who served his country as a naval officer in World War II, and to my grandfather, John O'Reilly, who served in World War I. Let's begin with General George Patton's own words. June 5, 1944. Quote, "We will win this war, but we'll win it only by fighting and showing the Germans that we've got more guts than they have or ever will have. We're not just going to shoot the sons of bitches. We're going to rip out their living goddamn guts and use them to grease the treads of our tanks." Prologue. Room 110, U.S. Army, 130th Station Hospital, Heidelberg, Germany, December 21st, 1945, 5 p.m. The man with 45 minutes to live cannot defend himself. General George S. Patton, Jr. fears no one. But now he sleeps flat on his back in a hospital bed. His upper body is encased in plaster, the result of a car accident 12 days ago. Room 110 is a former utility closet, just 14 feet by 16 feet. There are no decorations, pictures on the walls, or elaborate furnishings, just the narrow bed, white walls, and a single high window. A chair has been brought in for Patton's wife, Beatrice, who endured a long white-knuckle flight over the North Atlantic from the family home in Boston to be at his bedside. She sits there now, crochet hook moving silently back and forth, raising her eyes every few moments to see if her husband has awakened. General Patton is fond of the finer things in life, and during the course of the Second World War, he made his battlefield headquarters in mansions, palaces, castles, and five-star hotels. But right now, the sole concession to luxury is that, as a four-star general, Patton does not have to share his room with another patient. Old Blood and Guts, as his soldiers refer to the 60-year-old legend, is a man both revered and feared. He has many enemies, thus the need for the white-helmeted armed guards posted directly outside his door, at the end of the long hallway leading to the hospital lobby, and at every entrance and exit of the hospital building. Nicknamed for their helmets, these snowdrops protect Patton from the American journalists who have descended on this quiet former cavalry barracks in a great pack, ignoring the ongoing Nuremberg war trials so that they might write about Patton's accident and expected recovery. General Patton is getting well like a house afire, the Associated Press reported 4 days ago, basing its information on the Army's daily 6 p.m. briefing about Patton's condition. The story also reported that the general sat up in bed, throwing off his injury with, quote, "a speed reminiscent of his wartime advances," unquote. The truth, however, is far different. General George Patton is paralyzed from the neck down. Bones in his spine were dislocated when his car collided with an army truck full of drunken, joyriding soldiers. Patton's number 3 cervical vertebra was shattered, badly bruising his spinal cord. The good news is that he has recovered some movement in his extremities. The bad news is his doctors believe it is highly unlikely he will ever walk again. The reporters don't know this, and so they work overtime to invade Patton's privacy to see his amazing recovery for themselves. Some have tried to sneak into room 110, dressed as nurses or orderlies. Others have bribed hospital staff with Hershey bars and nylons. Thanks to the centuries, however, all of them have failed. The closest call was when Richard H. O'Regan, the same reporter from the Associated Press who wrote of Patton's remarkable recovery, caged an interview with Patton's nurse by pretending to be a patient. For his trouble, O'Regan was able to reveal to the world that doctors were allowing Patton to sip a thimbleful of whiskey each night with dinner. But reporters are the least of General Patton's worries. Throughout the course of the Second World War, he made many high-ranking enemies in Moscow, Berlin, London, and even Washington, D.C. Patton's fiery determination to speak the truth had many powerful men squirming, not only during the war, but also afterward. He recently went on the record praising his former German enemies for their skills as soldiers, while also criticizing the Soviet Union as being a foe rather than an ally of the USA. Some have come to see Patton as a roadblock to world peace, and now Patton is at his most vulnerable, an easy target for any of those enemies.